What's up, everybody? This is Kyle Ott for Draft Radio doing a Jank Cube 2 draft. Those of you that watch our videos and have seen some of our deck titles know that we here at Draft Radio sincerely love the word Jank. And so we found this cube here on Tapped Out, and we're really happy to draft it. There's a lot of good stuff in the pack. There's a Mirroring Crusader, an Oran Viper, Spectral Procession is awesome, so is Greater Gargadon. But I think the real draw here is the Show and Tell. So we're going to grab that there, Show and Tell, and build around that. Oh man, I'm really excited to draft this cube. We've tried drafting this a couple times today. Sadly, Tapped Out has crashed, which I'm pretty sure is my Wi-Fi and not the actual site. But that's okay. We're here, and we're bringing this draft to you guys. While we're waiting for the next pick, this is a good time to tell you a little bit about Draft Radio. So Draft Radio got started by myself and a few other players. We're really concerned about other sites dropping limited content and doing less about it. Draft is a really skill-intensive format, and it's a format that a lot of us love and just think it's a good time to have with your buddies and your friends. I mean, you get your money's worth almost every time that you go out to an actual draft, depending on how much the entrance fee is. And you know what? It's a lot of fun because every single time you're going to play something just a little different. So really trying to drum up interest, not only for Tapped Out and for Untapped.in, which is the playtest site that we're going to take this to, but for drafting in general and for limited play in general, both of which we love very, very much. So we're taking the Show and Tell here, hoping to get some powerful creatures to play with Show and Tell. I'd be happy with Grizzlebrand. I would be happy with basically anything. Shout out, of course, to the players that have decided to join us. Yep, shout out to, I'm sorry, I was fixing something like Peter. But shout out to the players that are joining us, Lloydmaster122 and Falcon Monkey 56, my two friends, Alex and John, and of course to Immobilian88, who was actually one of our competitors during one of our past drafts. Great guy, awesome guy. Yeah, we were recording against him, and we told him off, we were talking about stuff that was happening, and offhandedly I mentioned that I was like, hey, we're probably going to be putting this draft video up at some point. And he's like, really? And so he watched it, and he's become a fan and become a good, steadfast friend of the show. So shout out to Immobilian as well. Peter, Sower of Temptation is pretty good as well. All right, folks, we have a Sower of Temptation and a Show and Tell. We're not getting any of those great creatures that I wanted, but we do get a Gideon Jorah. There's also a Sword of Feast and Famine. I do like Sword of Feast and Famine. Sword of Feast and Famine is a fantastic card. So it's definitely between Gideon and between the Sword. I think I'm going to take the Sword, just in an attempt to keep my colors open. Again, I don't know exactly what we're going. There's also a Pterosidon, which I kind of want, actually. Now that I think about that. Because I can Show and Tell my Pterosidon. No, we're going to take Sword of Feast and Famine. Sword is just such a powerful, powerful card. Oh, choose and discard a creature. Put it into my hand. Choose and discard a creature card. Interesting. So this Survival of the Fittest? Do I want to be like the Survival of the Fittest deck? Green-blue Survival of the Fittest. There's also an Inkwell Leviathan, which works pretty well with our Show and Tell. Huh. I think we're going to take Survival of the Fittest. It certainly helps us set up for a really good Show and Tell. I'm also going to take a Vengevine here. Oh, there was a Grizzlebrand. Oh, man, I hate when I do that. That's just a good lesson to learn when you're playing on a draft simulator, is not to go into auto picks mode. So to take every pick seriously. Well, you guys get to benefit from my screw ups, as it were. We are going to take Omira Battlesphere. It's worked really great with our Show and Tell. The card creates a powerful board state. There's also Puppeteer's Click, which I like a good bit. There's an Hour of Reckoning. Figure of Destiny is fun as well, but Omira Battlesphere is what we're going to be taking here. If you hear me mention a bomb, for those of you that are relatively new to draft, if you hear me mention a bomb is any card that can win a game by itself or creates a board state by itself. And this card is certainly one of them. I mean, man, for 7 mana, you get this, you get 4 of the creatures. Dude, you can't beat it. Unstoppable. Huh. There's a Diviner's Wand, Dark Blast, an Icarid, Gelectrode. Huh. What do I want? I mean, I don't really want any of these. I'll take Temple Garden in case there's a white card that I want to splash for. I can see myself splashing for Path of Exile or something along those lines. So we're like Survival of the Fittest, Show and Tell, Sower of Temptation, Sword. We need to get a couple early game cards. I tend to draft a little on the mid-range side when I'm doing Cube, but man, I am bummed I didn't get that Grizzlebrand. Ugh. It just goes to show you, man. Even when you have a YouTube channel, you can't go into the auto picks mode. That's what kills you. Oh, there's a Wall of Roots, a Wall of Blossoms, which I like a lot, a Fleshbag Marauder, in case I want to do the black-blue version of this. There's a Wall of Roots. I'm going to take Wall of Roots. It's better in this archetype. I'm also going to take Verdant Catacombs. If this turns into like a Show and Tell sort of Reanimator deck, I would like to be able to turn this mana base into something a little better along those lines. Well, there's a lot left, Troll. Ooh. Stuff that brings creatures back to the back from graveyard to play. I mean, we have Survival of the Fittest as a sort of Reanimator engine. Now we have that lot left Troll. And even if if that doesn't work, then this deck just becomes a stereotypical blue-green deck where we're using Wall of Roots and Show and Tell to get out big creatures like Battlesphere, and then finishing off with Vengevine, Recursion, and then Sower of Temptation, probably. Yeah, that seems good. Seems decent. Oh, man. I love Cube Draft. Love, love, love Cube Draft. Who is taking a while? Moblian. Oh, my friend Falcon Monkey is taking a while as well. Interesting. Now, what do we have here? We have a Costly Pride Mage, a Orcish Lumberjack, Goblin Sharpshooter, and a Sunforger. Sunforger would be pretty good. It would be pretty good if we actually wanted to play it. I'm not too worried about somebody having Costly Pride Mage. I'm going to take this Sharpshooter. You can do some pretty degenerate stuff with Sharpshooter. I think our deck is a little on the slow side. We could also be black-green. Splash and blue. While I certainly do want to keep the Show and Tell on this Sower of Temptation, I mean, I'm not opposed to doing it. Limdal's Vault. What does this do? Top 5 cards in your library. As many times you choose. You may pay 1 life. Put them on the bottom, then look at the top 5 cards in your library. Choose. You may pay 1 life. Put those cards in the bottom of your library in any order. We'll just take Limdal's Vault. Oh, well, we timed out. That's fine. Limdal's Vault did not look like something that we were hoping to grab anyway. And then we nabbed a Falconwrath Aristocrat, so maybe we can go Jund if we really wanted to. Like I said, this is definitely... Ooh, Profane Command. Target creature loses X life. Target creature... Yeah, we'll just take Profane Command. Does a lot of stuff. Mana cost X or less. Perfect. There we go. That's a Reanimator trigger and a kill spell. Alright. Getting my Reanimator on. Blue, black, green Reanimator. So excited. Oh, man. So that was actually a pretty sweet late pick. Not gonna lie. And a Skull Clamp? A 15th pick Skull Clamp? Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at what we've got this time around. Alright, we have a Dread Return. That's probably going to be what we want. There's some other stuff in here. There's a Spellskite, which is definitely pretty good. A Scob Ruinator, which you can cast from your graveyard. I'm sure at some point we're going to want to grab that bad boy. But man, oh man, that's a Dread Return. And if we can get an Entomb or something like that, this is going to be insane. So what else is in here right now? Man, I can't stress it enough. I love Cube. Cube is fun. Goblin Welder is pretty awesome. Abyssal Persecutor is also pretty awesome. Because we can't win the game and your opponents can't lose the game. I think the pick for us is going to be Chromatic Lantern. as much as I want Abyssal Persecutor and I want Nameless Inversion, I really need some mana. And this is the way to do it. I mean, Chromatic Lantern enables this whole deck to work. It allows me to play all 3 of my colors. So, we are betting on future success, I should say. We certainly have a nice nice recursion engine. Now we've got Dread Return and Profane Command. Plus we have ways of putting creatures in our graveyard with Survival of the Fittest and Lot Left Troll. We'll see what else we've got. Yikes! Bitter Blossom, Tropical Island, or Primeval Titan. I think I want Bitter Blossom. No, I want Primeval Titan. I want big creatures that I can dump into my graveyard and then move on into other things. Bitter Blossom is great, and Tropical Island is also great, as is Dungeon Geist. There's also an Inferno Titan in the pack, a Domri Raid, Firemont Kavu. The rest is kind of meh. But I mean, Primeval Titan. Carrion Feeder. Sacrifice a creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on Carrion Feeder. There's a Moldiah, Oracle of Moldiah, which is pretty awesome. You can play additional lands, play top card of your library revealed. There's also a Tarmogoyf. I think we're going to play Tarmogoyf. Yeah, we're probably going to play Tarmogoyf here. Just because of how much graveyard recursion we've got going on. Just going to be awesome. Okay, what do we have here? Sylvan Library. At the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. If you do, choose 2 cards in your hand, draw on this turn. For each of those cards, pay 4 life. We'll put that card on the top of your library. That's just infinite draw then? Like I pay 4 life and I draw infinite? Oath of Druids. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls fewer creatures than target opponent, a card from his or her library until he or she... Oh, so I can just recur. I have less creatures than them, and I get to put a free creature into play. Which works really well for my deck, because I'm going to have nothing but terrifying creatures. Murderous Redcap is insane for us. Well, there's also a Commune with the Gods if we want another way to dump creatures into our yard, but I think taking like a Redcap is probably better. I mean, we already have ways of putting creatures in the yard and ways of getting our creatures. I need ways of getting my creatures out of the yard. Then Redcap is insane. Each creature card in your graveyard has Scavenge, so Varlaws is probably a great way of getting value out of our cards. There's also a Birthing Pod. Sacrifice a creature, search your library, convert a mana cost +1. That seems insane. We've got a way of searching our creatures again. So we're like a weird bug pod thing. This is awesome. Okay, doke. What do I do now? Savagathos, the Restless Tomb is pretty sweet. Momentous Fall. Sack a creature. Draw cards equal to that creature's power. Then you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. There's also a Tooth and Nail. Search your library from 2 creature cards. Yeah, we're taking Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail's awesome. This deck is like just junk. This deck is awesome. This deck is just basically tutor for big creatures. Oath of Druids gets us big creatures. Tooth and Nail gets us big creatures. Profane Command gets us big creatures. Dread Return gets us big creatures. Yeah, this is sweet. Show and Tell gets us big guys. Yeah, this is awesome. This is insane. I might not even run the blue. Who am I kidding? I'm probably going to run the blue. Okie doke. Well, we have a Scab Ruinator. It's a great card, and we're going to play it. There's also a Metamorphosis to help us smooth out those draws. Tropical Island, which we'll happily play. we certainly need the land. It's going to smooth out our mana issues pretty well. We got that Oracle of Moldiah that we wanted. Man, this is turning into a pretty sweet deck. I'm not going to lie. I am pretty excited. Pretty excited about how this is going. Sylvan Library is pretty sweet. Sylvan Library is pretty awesome. There's a Taiga. We're not going to play the Taiga, but there is a Taiga. Gotta send out the call. We have a couple people that are playing on Untap with us after this draft, but I want to make sure that I'm playing with everybody, which is, you know, the point. The fun stuff. So there's an Edric Spymaster of Trest, which I like quite a bit. There's also a Snapcaster Mage, which would be good if we had any instants or sorceries worth recurring. I mean, there's a Tooth and Nail, but I mean, Jesus, getting to the 9 mana, I'd rather be playing a creature. There's a Pongify, which is a fine card, a Skin Shifter, which I like quite a bit. We do have a Tarmogoyf, we do have a Wall of Roots, Sylvan Library. We have very little creature presence on turn 2. I mean, I want to take that Polluted Delta, but I think it's more important for us to grab a 2-drop at this point. We are going to be base green, and I really don't want to have to like lose in the first like 20 seconds of this draft. Wonder has, as long as Wonder's in my graveyard and I control an island, creatures you control have flying. That's kind of awesome. Flying fatties? I think so. There's also a Courser of Kruphix, which works really well with our Oracle. Accelerates out our mana. Sylvan Caryatid, which I'm happy to see, also accelerates out our mana on our big guys. Misty Rainforest and a Noble Hierarch. I'm going to take the Hierarch. Again, prioritizing our low drops. There is a Fauna Shaman, which I think is what I'm going to grab. Man, this is turning into a pretty sweet deck. I'm not going to lie. We've got 2 split lands, essentially, plus the Chromatic Lantern, plus the Sylvan Caryatids. So what I'm thinking about doing is just making this base green for deck building, and then sort of just I might not run the Dread Return or the Scabruinator, because I really don't have that many ways to recur the cards in my graveyard. I might just actually take black out and this just be blue-green. Tutor for guys. Well, maybe I want to. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. I think at this point I'm more of a blue-green shell, so to speak. I will take Birthing Pod, however. Do I want to play Scabruinator? What does Scabruinator do for us? Well, that's Tarmogoyf, so I don't really know. All right, so this is a cool pick. We have a Cyclonic Rift and a Lotus Cobra. I'm going to take Lotus Cobra. We can do some pretty awesome stuff with this. If we get that Misty Rainforest back, we can do some amazing things with Lotus Cobra, just in terms of like the mana that we can get. Plus, it's a 2-drop, shores up our. It's going to make sure that we don't get run over by the hyper-aggressive decks in this format. Because I don't want to get run over by the hyper-aggressive decks in this format. I want to play games of Magic. And so Oath of Druids is pretty good. We need to get some more big creatures. And we have a Battle Sphere, we have a Titan, we have the Sower of Temptation, the Vengevine. But really need to get some big creatures out in there. Man, I am still bummed that I just did not get my hands on that thing. Okay, now I'm playing the other one. Alright, now I'll play black for Maelstrom Pulse. Maelstrom Pulse is a pretty good reason to run that Verdant Catacombs. Happy to get that land. Edric Spymaster is also pretty sweet. Whenever a creature deals damage to one of your opponents, yeah. Its controller may draw a card. That's awesome. Dryad Militant is fine. So now we're like tempo-ish? Not tempo-ish. We're like play cheap creatures, accelerate out into big guys, and then our win conditions are Titan, Tarmogoyf, Skin Shifter, Ruinator, Sword and Feast, Vengevine Recursion, anything to get Mire Battlesphere out in the field. I'm fine with that, actually. That seems fine with me. And Wonder to give all of our guys flying? Is there a way that we ditch Wonder? Can we find a way to put Wonder in the graveyard? In hindsight, I really should have actually taken that Commune with the Gods. That would have been much better for this deck, I think. But hey, you live and you learn, right? Ooh, at the beginning of your upkeep, if Genesis is in the graveyard, you may pay 3. Turn target creature from graveyard to hand. Seems awesome. Seems like a great way to recur stuff. I will happily take... Ooh, and there's a way to do it. Grizzly Salvage is a way to do it. Put 1/1 black and green worm token. Mind's Desire. Shuffle your life. I'm take this Worm Harvest. I might actually play the Worm Harvest. I will not be playing Trading Post. Alright, so now we can put this stuff back in there. Okay, this is interesting. See, that's what I love about Cube. When I say limited is something different every single time, I mean, man, it is different every single time, and this is just super different. Alright, let's generate the deck. Okie doke. Let's take a look at what we're running. Okay, so we have 2 instants. We have 3 enchantments. That's 5. We're not going to count these 2 landas. We're going to play both of them. So that's 5, 9, 15, 34 cards. 34 cards. Seems pretty good. 34 cards. Got to cut 11 of them. All right, well, let's take a look at what we've got. Dread Return, Maelstrom Pulse, Tooth and Nail, Worm Harvest. Probably can cut Worm Harvest. Don't think I'll be running Worm Harvest at any point. Grizzly Salvage and Metamorphosis. I do want to play Sylvan Library. This card is awesome. As is Oath of Druids. I like Wonder. I like Vengevine. I like Tarmogoyf. I think the simplest thing for us to do is to cut the black from it. Cut this Lotleth Troll. And then cut this Grizzly Salvage. And then, do I have any other black cards in here? I am going to keep the... I'm going to take Dread Return out. And Profane Command. This is going to be a interesting tempo deck, I think. Rather than a strange Graveyard Recursion. Although, who knows? Maybe it can't be Graveyard Recursion. But I like this a lot better. I like this sort of tempoing out and digging for our answers. Although what I could do is I could take out, what could I take out? I could take out Sylvan Library. I'm actually going to go back. Because I kind of want to try this again. If you can hear that thunder and lightning, my house is being hit by the storm of the century, which is just insane right now. So what do I want to do here? That is the question. What do I want? All right, we are taking out Worm Harvest. There's no way I'm playing Worm Harvest. Birthing Pod? Do I take Birthing Pod out? That is the question. So let's see. I have no 6-drops to tutor out to this. Yeah, so there's no real way that Birthing Pod tutors to my other stuff, maybe? How about this? I take out Lotleth Troll. And I keep Dread Return and Grizzly Salvage. Because that lets me put creatures out in the field in other ways. No, I really don't have enough big creatures to justify doing that. And then Birthing Pod actually is relevant, though, because it lets me tutor out stuff. Survival of the Fittest is still pretty good. Sylvan Library, I think, is pretty decent. I'm interested to try during each player's upkeep. Oh, it's each player? Oh, so I can never really get an advantage? Oh, well, that's not that awesome. Maybe it is that awesome. Tell me in the comments. Is that card that awesome? Did I just cut like an insanely good card and I'm an idiot? I could be. Like I said, I don't draft cube that often. But when I do, I cut relevant cards. 25, 28. So we still have to cut 5 cards. Interesting. Man, see, I really need to draft more cube. What have we learned today? I need to draft more cube. Because now I'm looking at this going, man, I really want to go back and rework all of this. I apologize, folks. I know that you guys came here for riveting games of draft, and you're left with me puzzling over how I'm going to construct this. I do apologize for that. I know you guys are more interested in that. So what if we do this? Let's cut Dryad Militant. Keep Lotleth Troll. Scab Ruinator. Keep all those fun guys. Because I have ways to recur that stuff in my graveyard. Take Birthing Pod out. Take Worm's Harvest out. Still going to take Oath of Druids out. As I'm looking over this, I realize that there is so much that I can do if I only possess the necessary strength of my constitution. To quote Boondock Saints, do you possess... The question is not what happens next. It is, do you possess the strength of constitution to take it as far as it needs to go? Not that I'm saying we murder criminals. That is not what I'm saying, Boondock Saints. I'm going to just hide our sideboard because there was a problem with that action. I have a problem with your action. 23, 25, 28, 30. So we still have to cut 7 more cards. Well, then I'm going to cut this Profane Command. I'm also going to cut... Oh, man. Yeah, I just don't see any way that we get the Graveyard Recursion to work. And in the back of my mind... Oh, I can cut Lotleth Troll. Sometimes it says there's a problem with that action. Really what it means is we're just messing with you. We're logging to untap a while it sorts itself out. Alright, there we go. Show and Tell, Tooth and Nail, Survival of the Fittest, Sylvan Library, Metamorphosis. The question is, do I need Metamorphosis? And I think I do. I would like to keep Metamorphosis anyway. So what do we cut then? Do we cut Wall of Roots? No. Wonder? No. We're at 21, 23, 26, 28 cards. We still have to cut 5 more. Oh, man. I already took out Profane Command. If I take Grizzly Salvage out... See, here's the thing. If I really wanted to, I could cut Dread Return, I could cut the Grizzly Salvage, and then I would cut Scab Ruinator. And then just play it that way? Yeah. Maybe I cut Sylvan Library. See, the only time I've ever played Sylvan Library was in Commander, where it's absolutely insane, because you can just draw all those extra cards and you already have, like, X amount of extra life. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut... I'm going to cut the black stuff, except for the Maelstrom Pulse, which I will leave in. Well, no, I want to try it. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm being a little indecisive on you with deck construction. There's just so much fun stuff. Maybe Vengevine? Because we're not going to play a lot of cheap spells. We're sort of just tutoring out to get big stuff. And do I really want a 4/3 as the end-all and be-all of my curve? Okay, so that's one of our 5 cards that we can cut. And I still want to leave Metamorphosis in because it smooths out our draws. Yeah, I am going to take Sylvan Library out. I think it's a mistake to play that when it takes out 1/4 of our life. Plus, we're already going to be drawing a card from Metamorphosis. Plus, we're getting free card advantage from Courser of Krufix and Oracle of Moldiah. So, I'm not too worried about that. That does bring us to 20, 22, 25... Yeah, that's 20, 23, 25, 26, so 3 more cards? That's not bad. I can cut 3 more cards. Gonna keep Show and Tell. Although maybe I don't. No, maybe I actually cut Show and Tell. simply because I have other ways to play that stuff. Like I can tutor up my creatures and then I'm just going to play them based with free mana and then Dread Return. So then I cut 2 more cards. Yeah, because it's 19, 21, 22, 24. Oh, I cut 1 more card, right? 19, 21, 23. I can't math. I don't know how many times I say that in a given version of this podcast and this YouTube series. I can't math. And yet somehow I play Magic the Gathering. It is something that no one has been able to figure out. Maybe we play Scab Ruinator. Maybe we take out Scab Ruinator then. Yes, we take out Scab Ruinator. I still think that's a weak card. And then... And is there any point of leaving in this Grizzly Salvage? There is not. We take a Grizzly Salvage out. That's 15, 18, 20, 23, 24. No, I'm sorry, you don't count those two. So it's 18, 21. That's actually good because I'm going to add that Profane Command and that Grizzly Salvage back in. Okay. I think we actually did that. Again, guys, I really do apologize. I know that we usually kind of race through deck construction. But today was not the day that we raced through deck construction. Oh, man. Woo. An excellent title. Oh, Jank Busters. Jank Busters it is. That was our beautiful mid-range Mirrodin deck. Yeah, because if we put Profane Command and Grizzly Salvage back in, that makes this deck insane. Because then we just recur stuff. Oh no, Jank Busters is at 23, even with the 2-land. Alright, well let's try it. Let's try it. Well, so what are we going to do? We're going to splash 1 swamp, 8 forest. Actually, let's check our mana base. Love the mana base tools. So let's go maybe 1 swamp. What we could do is go 2 swamps, 2 islands, 6 and 9 is 15. So 6 and 11 makes 17. And 11 forest. This is going to be strange. This is going to be really strange. All right, guys, I will see you in a little bit.